One of Tesla's biggest assets is trending down, and is it too late to correct the course? We're going to talk about it. I don't think it's too late, but what is Tesla's biggest assets, right? Some people can argue that it is technology, batteries, the factory, the superchargers, but many, including Elon Musk himself, actually would argue that it's their employees. If you've ever met one or two or three at the showrooms or the service centers, despite everything that's out there, these are one of the most hardworking, dedicated people. As you know, they work more than most of us in terms of hours. The demand is huge. There's always something. There's always a big milestone. I mean, let's talk about production hell that a lot of them went through if they were part of the manufacturing, which a lot of them have been. I mean, people from service centers have been pulled into the factory in the Bay Area to help with the production hell. But there's a report from Reuters that has indicated that things are changing. So I'll tell you all about it, and then we can discuss what can be done about it. Would you work for Tesla? I know quite a few people who have and are there now, and maybe I'll share some of their sentiment and one of the reasons why they've joined and liked working for Tesla coming up next. Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything moving forward. And of course, thank you to all of my Patreons who are watching me live. That's one of the perks. But thank you for supporting me and this independent channel. All right, so let's talk about the Tesla employees. It's kind of like, the era of startups in Silicon Valley has kind of come and gone. And Tesla is really just one of the last companies out there where people, when they go to work, they feel excited because they feel like they're changing the world. Obviously, 5, 6, 7 years later, it was different, right? Especially with stock options, being promised, and really a lot of them obviously made a lot of money, and maybe some actually retired on that. Now it's a little different, but the mission is still the same. Again, if you haven't met one, go ahead and meet one at the service center or at the showroom, and you'll see, and then just talk to them about like why they joined Tesla. Do they enjoy working there? And most of them will say absolutely. But Reuters just had just kind of a report, right? It's not necessarily something that's just coming out as the news, but this is based on some of the surveys from LinkedIn and Glassdoor, the websites out there that are kind of tracking many things, including the satisfaction of employees of different companies. So as far as LinkedIn is concerned, Tesla was on top. It was, I think, number 5 a couple of years ago, number 6 a year ago, but we're talking about 2016, 2017 now. In 2018, it slipped all the way to number 16. Still pretty good, right? Still pretty good, but the trend is what's a concern here. But I would still say, if you're not listed in top 25, even though you're in pretty good shape. But if we will move to the Glassdoor report that Reuters were talking about, then this is where things are slipping. The average is 3.4 is what employees would rate their employers out of 5, but they average 3.4, and Tesla was a little bit above that for about 3.6, I think was their high. But now the latest report says they're at 3.2. But here's I think where a problem. Well, let me give you another thing is. Would you recommend to working here to a friend? It used to be 71%. Now it's 49%. And that's a pretty significant drop. I think the overall trend is obviously going downwards, but something like this, right? A lot of times, if you enjoy your work, you want to work for your friends. I'm sure if you're watching me, you probably have some friends as your coworkers and friends as your former coworkers that you actually stayed in touch. I've made like half of my friends by just being in the office and meeting new people on different jobs, and I'm really thankful for that. So, but when you're saying that, hey, I do not want my friends here, that is definitely an indication that you might not be enjoying it. There was also another report, something that's kind of also concerning. And at some point, apparently Tesla attempted to block Blind, this app called Blind, from being used by their employees. If you haven't used this app, well, you might start right now. It's called Blind, and this is where you can be anonymous on it. but talk about all of the issues and problems of or good things in your company. So this is kind of an open forum where everyone's anonymous, everybody can say whatever they want. And I think, like when I was at my previous companies, I've used that, and it definitely, caused some very interesting conversations. But Tesla tried blocking it. I think it's fine now, but that was another thing that I think people kind of obviously looked in a negative way. But here's the biggest concern that I would say in all of this. And before we get there, of course, I want to remind you that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out their all new, all electric SUV coming to the US and Europe next year, starting at only $45,000. That's before incentives. And join myself and over 50,000 other people who have already reserved theirs. It's $0 down to reserve yours, about 60 seconds of your time. So go to the description of this video, click on that link, and reserve your Byton today. All right, so let's talk about the probably a little bit more, most of the troubling part of that survey, and it's concerning Elon Musk. And so apparently there's approval rating, just like with the president there. And so his was at some point, not a very distant future past, was at 90%. And I got to tell you, I mean, that's the problem that I've been having with him lately, is because it's he was just such a superstar in everyone's eyes, and myself included. Now it fell from 90 to 52. Now that's still pretty high, I would say, if half of your employees approve the job that you do, even though, obviously Elon is not an easy boss to take. But the fact that it's, almost half of the employees who used to support you are now not supporting you, that's a big problem. Now, so let's talk about why this is happening. And there's very little surprise, when you have so much uncertainty with your job. I mean, people getting laid off, and sometimes them being hired back, the wages are being cut, and you're obviously overworked, but that everybody knew that came with a job. And then of course stock options, this is not the stock that would make you millionaires anymore, and may not even make you any money anymore, though it rebounded recently from its losses. It's definitely a tough place to take. So why do people work at Tesla? And this is not for me to answer, but just based on what I've heard from my friends who worked there in the past, this is still the company that will, first of all, look great on your resume, obviously, but also everybody who works there, or most people who work there, believe that they are changing the world. They're part of something really big, and despite all of the problems, all of the trouble that the company have gone through, the overall, I think overall sort of sentiment, and I think we share it as fans and customers, that this company is still changing the world. And everything that we see, right, all of the other companies that are being dragged into this electric car revolution, all these electric cars that are coming out that I like very much, at least most of them, is a result of Tesla, and they want to continue being in the front of this revolution. And it's definitely something that I'm definitely behind. So, one thing that I would just suggest, obviously, they do need to, I mean, they do need to change a lot of things, but I think one of them is they got to cater to the employees a little bit more, right? There's got to be a little bit more stability. There's got to the pay obviously needs to, I mean, at least bonus pay needs to be going back up there, where they can, be really rewarded with I don't want to say fair, but better pay. And of course, just I just got to go back to stability. I think that's what needs to happen. But let me know in the comment section, by the way, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a problem, and how can Tesla fix that? Because they do need to fix that, right? Those are the biggest fans. These are the people who are a lot, with the Model 3 are the first testers, right? Just kind of guinea pigs, the first adopters. How can they fix that? Now, really quick, also, I want to give a quick shout out to one of my newer Patreons, John Pagani. Thank you so much for joining my Patreon community. As I said earlier, without you guys, this channel would be much harder to run as an independent channel. So thank you so much. And of course, don't forget to join our VIP list. Every Saturday, we send out a bonus story, and of course, a deal of the month is something that we've implemented recently, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. I got a lot of good feedback on this. So go to e4electric.com/VIP if you want to join our list. All right, looking forward to your comments and maybe some suggestion, and maybe you're an employee at Tesla, so let me know what you guys think. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.